Is this thing on? Hello? Are we here? Can anybody hear me out there? I hope so. Is this real? Are y'all there? We've had some internet troubles the past couple weeks, but it looks like we are back. Thank you for joining me. So happy to be here and be back. Look at that. We had coming in loud and clear. We love to hear it. Now, if that chat message could just appear on screen, that would be perfect. Oh, I know why. Maybe I know why that's not working. Who knows? Well, can't have it all working, right? Thank you all for being here. Sean Adams says, I haven't been to one of these in a long time. Well, we've taken a couple weeks off as I resolve our ever-changing internet situation, but it looks like we are looking good. If I could just get my chat overlaid to work as well, that would be even better, but not sure what's going on with that. I'll work to fix it as we go. Dungeon Master says, I'm finally finishing up the DLC for Witcher 3. Very cool. I heard new Cyberpunk DLC is coming as well. CD Projekt Red working real hard. How's everybody doing? Silent Studio says, I've never been to this before. Well, thank you for being here. Hopefully it's a chill time. Also, y'all can keep me in check on the audio levels and things like that. We got a little background music, little voice. I can't really tell the mix of those live, but you let me know if you can hear everything appropriately, and I can adjust as needed. Here, let me open this and see if this works. Oh, Lucy's message shows up. Okay, there we go. I think I fixed it. You can just spam your chat if you wish, and now I can bring it up on screen. Okay, so far so good. We are up and running, I swear. So I'm reading a kind of a sci-fi book right now that's about, you know, stuff going wrong on a space station, or yeah, on a ship, and that's what setting up a live stream feels like. Feels like you fix something and it creates more problems, but knock on wood, we are good to go this evening. So if you've got questions, if you want to chat about anything music, gear, production related or unrelated, tell me what movies you recently saw. Give me the review of the TV show you're watching or the book you're reading. I would love to hear it. Let me know of a sick dish that you cooked. I'm looking at you, Dungeon Master, who's always cooking and posting it in our Discord. Chrissy, thank you for joining us. Happy to have you here, I should say. I can also speak English sometimes. This camera angle is insane. Thank you. We got a couple of them. Main camera angle. Oh, this one could be angled down a bit, right? Like come down like that. Is that better? Hopefully the autofocus is happening. Hopefully. What camera am I using? So this camera is a Lumix G85. This camera is a Sony A7 IV. It's like my main camera. This camera is a Lumix GH5. These are all like cameras that I've gotten over the years. So the A7 IV has been my main camera for a long time now. That's this camera. Basically, most of the videos you see me shoot are shot on this. If the quality's looking real good, it's shot on this. If the quality's kind of looking handheld or gimbalish, it's probably shot on the Osmo Pocket 3. Sometimes I combine these two cameras often because it's just so dang convenient. And then the two Lumix cameras I have because that's just kind of how I started. I started with Lumix cameras. So like the G85 was a little cheaper, so I got that one. Then I upgraded to the GH5. And eventually I moved away from Lumix because I didn't like them too much in terms of autofocus and stuff. And then the A7 IV, which I've had for a few years now, knock on wood, it's been real good. If something doesn't go wrong on a ship, it's not sci-fi. That's very true, Sean Adams. Very, very true. Yo, JP in the chat. JP, thank you for joining us. JP and I have been doing one-on-one lessons for a few weeks now. JP finished a track this past week and has been making great progress. So shout out to JP. Looking forward to more lessons. Link to if you all want to book lessons or mentorship sessions in the description down below. JP asks, what gear is in front of you? Currently in front of me, Launch Key Mini Mark IV, the 37 key version, all white version, which I think looks pretty dope. This is just a good overall keyboard to have on in front of me on the desk at all times. Can't go wrong with the good old launch community. More gear in front of me is the Roland P6, which I picked up again recently. I've been working on this new video that will come out in a couple weeks. I did some sampling with this the other day. We can talk about that in a bit. And then also within reach is Ableton Move, because that's always in reach, because it's always a good sound source to have. And then, I don't know if you all watched the new studio setup video. If you haven't, go check that out. You can see how this whole studio came together, how the wood walls you can see this room from before it was a studio, from when it was just a mess and the desk wasn't even set up. But I got my Astrolab and my Seaboard. Seaboard Rise over there. So that's what gear's in front of me, but what gear is in front of you all tonight, this evening? Are you all tuning in from home studios? Are you tuning in from work? Let me know. I'm not looking for geographic location. I'm looking for specific location tonight. Are you if you're in your house, okay, cool, you're in your house. Are you in the living room? Is the stream up on the TV? Is it on a laptop? Is it on an iPad? Are you watching from bed? How do you watch the stream? This is what I need to know. Oh, Dungeon Master says smoking pork tenderloin for our Independence Day rock band pool party. Now I have a couple questions, Dungeon Master. Rock band pool party. Are you going to be playing Rock Band the game? Like the Guitar Hero-esque game? Or is there a rock band coming to perform? I need to know. Also, smoked pork tenderloin sounds great. My neighborhood is having some kind of shindig get-together, but we also got burgers and hot dogs, the classic, you know. Happy Thursday, Tom. Nice to see you. Hello, happy Thursday to Beta Run as well. Thank you for being here. Shout out to all these channel members out here. So happy to see you all here today. I heard Lumix is ahead of the game right now. Maybe not Crown, because I got the last Lumix camera I bought was a GH5, which quality-wise was good, but feature-wise was a little behind, but that's also a very old camera at this point. So I haven't tried any new cameras. I did see LJ's video about how he just got a new Lumix camera, which is pretty cool. I mean, it ebbs and flows when it comes to camera and quality and stuff, so they could very well be ahead of the game these days. Are you using Elgato cam links for all angles? No, you should watch my new setup video, because I do explain this a little bit, but this little white box next to me is a streaming mixer. All the cameras go there. My laptop HDMI out goes there. And my audio goes there. My mic, and then audio from my, working session. Everything goes into that streaming mixer. I am using one Elgato Lite though, which is on my desk. You can see it right here. I'll have it blink for you. There you go. Ooh, Chrissy, actually reading a few graphic novels from Cyberpunk 2077. That's pretty cool. I find it tough to read graphic novels. I have played through Cyberpunk multiple times. I don't know if you want to share anything about your playthroughs, Chrissy, assuming that you've played it, if you're reading the graphic novels. I would like to go back and read some of those Cyberpunk classics, though. Like I Dream of Electric Sheep, that kind of stuff. Neuromancer. Do you use Companion to automate your video setup? No, there's no automation. I gotta push a bunch of buttons here to switch the angles. So I always do that live. That's how we change things up. I'm piloting this ship. Yo, Rashane, nice to see you. I am Orange, nice to see you as well. Catching up with my chat because it was a little offline at first. Ooh, who else is finishing up a track? That's good to hear. Get those tracks finished. That new audio setup was dope. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna have more to share. I got the video that I'm working on is for something that isn't out yet, but I think it's pretty cool that y'all are gonna like, and it pertains to audio, and it pertains to my setup, but I can't say more than that. All right, Silent Studio says, I was wondering what your preferred DAW is and if you have recommendations for beginners. I got lots of recommendations for beginners, Silent Studio, so if you have more specific questions, let me know. My DAW of choice is Ableton Live. Ableton Live all the way. I mean, lots of people use lots of different things. I don't think Ableton Live is necessarily better than other DAWs, and I don't think that kind of like rating or comparison is a conversation that's worth anybody's time, but I use Ableton Live and I like it a lot. For beginners, take things slow. I do have a how to learn music production video that is like sets a guide up for steps you need to take, things you need to learn, because you got to learn music and you got to learn production at the same time. It's not easy. Mike or Mick, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm going to say Mike the Mistake. Love the plumbing shelving. Thank you. I like these shelves too. I forgot where I got these, but they look nice, right? They're super heavy though, but they've held up for now. Huh. Sean Adams says, props on how you fixed the Lego flower. That was a must. That was a priority. That was definitely a priority. Okay, JP's watching from the couch. Got the Mini Lab 3 and a Move. We love to see that. Tom is watching from in the house. Downstairs computer that only has a Tractor S4 Mark III near it. Nice. Dungeon Master's watching in the studio / office. 32-inch Mac. Holy smokes. The Pro. Are you like a designer or something? That's kind of dope. Giant Mac. That's kind of the dream, but I like the setup I have now. My MacBook Pro is just like tucked in the corner, basically acting as a Mac Mini. Studio converted bedroom. Yeah, that's what this room is too. I mean, I don't think anybody's space has a dedicated studio room. I think we're all just converting bedrooms into studios, right? Rashane, watching on the TV from the couch. I am honored to be on your TV. Thank you for putting me on the big screen. Mike watching in the studio. Not Crown says, insane that this is all powered by a MacBook. Well, it's technically not. It's technically all running to a PC. And technically all the like, it's hard to explain. Like, I've got my PC and I've got my MacBook set up. That's this screen that you're seeing here. My normal MacBook Pro. But all the processing stuff is happening through the streaming mixer, and the streaming mixer connects to a PC. So the PC, which I have a screen right above my screen, is right above my actual monitor. That's the PC monitor. All the PC has to do is run OBS, and it gets a USB feed from the streaming mixer. Winston in the chat. Winston is here. How's it going, my friend? In my bedroom home studio, MPK Mini Plus, Ableton Push 2, and a DJ controller. Surrounded. Caper says, can you recommend a 3-tier stand? Well, I just got this 2-tier stand from OnStage, and what I'll say is it is super sturdy. It's got like one comparison that I saw compared to other stands is like this. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it here, but there's this crossbar which keeps it nice and sturdy, and like you can see I'm wiggling it, but it's not like shifting left and right like it's unstable. Like, it's super stable. So if you could get yourself a 3-tier version of one of these, I think it would be golden. I think 3-tier would have been a little too much for me. 2-tier is perfect here, I think. Oh, Winston says it's school holiday time, so you know what that means, beat making. I love to hear it. I was thinking we should have a little summer camp or something this month, like a week where there's a stream every day. There's a goal at the end of the summer camp, maybe. A little kind of early Beattober-ish event. I'll think about it. I actually already need to start planning for a Beattober this year. This is around the time when I start planning and start reaching out to folks and partners. So if you have recommendations, things you want to see this Beattober, or things that I should remember from last time, please let me know. Last time was crazy because I got married at the end of September, and then we rolled right into Beattober. But not only did I get married, I got married in another country, so that made the beginning of Beattober, or like planning and preparing for Beattober, quite hectic. but not this year. We will be home in the studio. No excuses. Okay, Dungeon Master's got 500 songs on Rock Band. That sounds like it's going to be a very fun party. That's a very smart idea for a party. Beta Run tuning in from the sunroom. Very cool. Last weekend, me and the wife and I have been putting on Sonic 3. Just hit Zone 3 as the stream was starting. Oh, that's so cool. Gaming together. We love to hear that. Very cool. The organization of your new studio decoration-wise is very cool. Thank you, Tom. I really like how it looks. It really feels great walking into this room. And I don't know if you can see it, but behind me... Here, let me scoot out of the way. Better if I go this way. Ugh. There's a little lounge chair back there. That is clutch, because sometimes I'm sitting at this desk all day working on stuff and staring at this screen and editing. I like sitting in the desk. Sometimes I just get randomly sore. I don't know why. It's like ergonomics or my posture or something, but sitting back there and being able to watch something on screen or just take a break back there is cool. I have not really had a studio where there's a space to kick back. I'm always fighting this mic stand. The SM7B is just too dang heavy. Cool. But thank you for the compliment. Ooh, Sean Adams says, the gear, they all jockey for position. I'm interested in a Lumi when I have the funds. All I have is my Zoom Q8N 4K at the moment. I don't know what a Zoom Q8, is it a recorder? Zoom Q8N. Oh, it's like a camera / recorder. Very cool. So all these weird little audio gadgets out there. Yeah, Lumi, or Piano M as it's known now. We must call it by its proper name. You might like the dystopian book Feed. Silent Studios, thank you for that recommendation. I am taking book recommendations because I'm vigorously trying to finish the book that I'm currently reading, which is called Project Hail Mary. It's going to be a movie, and they just released I just took a note of that book name, Feed. They just released the movie trailer, so Ryan Gosling is the lead in this, but I'm very much trying to get to the end of this book. If anybody's heard of The Martian, either the movie or the book, I read The Martian before I saw the movie as well, and The Martian was another book that I could not stop reading, and it's the same author, so he did not disappoint again. Well, we'll see at least when I get to by the time I get to the end. Yo, Trevor, thanks for jumping in and saying hey. Y'all, I want to say thank you all for tuning in this evening. Happy to be here. We can jump into some music making, or we can just keep the conversation going. So if you want to just say hey in chat, or if you've got a question, feel free to jump in, especially if you're just lurking. We are a very welcoming community around here. What else do I have to say? I also wanted to let you all know that we're live every Thursday night. We had taken a little bit of a break. I had some tech issues, but hold on, knock on wood. Things are running smoothly this evening. This is the first time in 3 weeks that things are running smoothly. I do think I solved the technical issues, but all that aside, we're usually live every Thursday night for just a chill, casual stream, either making music, talking about other things, whatever. So feel free to stop by every Thursday evening. And then I'm also posting videos every weekend, trying to. Not sure if I'll have a video up this weekend because it's the holiday weekend, but we'll see. I am working on a new long form series. Shoya, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. And Robbie Sco just finished a gig that got rained out after 2 songs on the beach, drying off on the drive back. Good to see you. Good to see you as well, Robbie Sco. Hopefully you still got paid for that gig. It does suck to set up all the gear. Apparently my parents in my hometown, their fireworks event was this evening, and it's like a big town park. Everybody goes, sets up blankets and chairs and everything, but they had a crazy storm, hail, everything. Whole thing got rained out. People had to go home. So crazy weather around the US today, I guess. I'm not doing well with keeping up in chat, so I'm doing my best, everybody, to make it through everybody's messages. Winston said, if you had to pick one subscription-based piece of production software, samples, bundle of plugins, or any other software, what would it be? I was thinking maybe Lander Suite or Splice. Yeah, I mean, if sample libraries count in this question, it would definitely be one of the sample libraries for sure. I don't think I really subscribe to any other, like, what other plugin packages do I have that are subscription? Not really any that I generally work with. Arturia, Native Instruments, UVI stuff, even Waves. Most of that stuff I own outright. Splice is one of the only things that I pay for on a subscription. But there's lots of sample manager and finder stuff coming out, so I'm very curious to see if I'll be able to eliminate my Splice subscription at some point. It's just like too easy, even for video editing. If you need like a sound effect or something to go into Splice and type it in and find it, they've got that really nailed down. How realistically far can someone get with Ableton Live Lite? Is it going to seriously limit you, or can it suffice? Well, Sean, I'll say this. Live Lite, first of all, I'm starting a brand new series, and it is going to be Launch Key Mini for beginners, but using Live Lite. So even if maybe you don't have a launch key, it'll still be worthwhile. But I'm going to be using entirely Live Lite for that. And here's what I'll say. For any beginner out there, and this doesn't just have to do with Live Lite, this has to do with like imagining the fact that you're going to be limited. If you can't see the limitations, like if you don't hit the wall, like if you don't immediately hit a wall of limitations, you don't need to worry about that. There's always an upgrade path anyway. So if you get on Ableton Live Lite and just start making music, just do that until you feel the limitations are too like confining to your music. But especially for beginner, you'll be fine with Ableton Live Lite. You might be like, oh, I want more than 8 tracks or whatever, and that's valid. But just remember, like, all of the legends of electronic music, or basically any kind of music, came up at a time when we had way less technology and capabilities than we have now. So don't stress limitations as a bad thing. They're a very, very good thing. And having unlimited things as a beginner is not helpful. Oh, I was also thinking about getting Melodics or Musician for learning keyboard. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, it's cool that Melodics offers keyboard stuff and finger drumming stuff. Any thoughts on Push 3 standalone versus Octatrack? Freeze. I'm not sure. That's tough because I've never used an Octatrack, but I know really cool people that do use an Octatrack. I do have a Push 3 standalone. If you are a die-hard Ableton Live user and you're down with the session view stuff, Push 3 is the way to go. If you're not that person, it becomes a little more of a difficult choice, I think. I mean, the Electron workflow, especially on the Octatrack, seems really... I don't want to say cumbersome. I'm not trying to come at Electron like that, but anytime I see somebody work on an Electron piece of gear, I think to myself, oof, I don't want to be doing that. But that's not to say it's bad, because I see a lot of people making great stuff on it. Watching from my studio in the basement. My bedroom is on the 2nd floor. Nice, you got a floor separation between you and the studio. Question, TAETRO, on your last video in your new setup, did you make the tracks on the video? If so, very nice. Yeah, basically always. I can't think of a time when this wouldn't be true, but basically always, all of the background music that you hear in videos is my music as well. So I'm always a little bit self-conscious of like if that music's gonna get repetitive as background music for the videos, but I hope not. Nobody's complained about that yet. So as I make more and more music over time. I just add them all to like a folder and I pull them into different videos. So it's not always perfect because I'm not always making music for that purpose, obviously, to be background music in videos. So not a lot of it fits. So that's why I use a lot of the same tracks over and over again, because they make decent kind of backing tracks for video. Is it Indonesian deco on your wall? Yes, Usa. That's an Indonesian mask up there. Yes. I believe that one comes from Indonesian culture. Rob Hawkins, 2 a.m. vibes here watching this. Thank you for joining us. I do like the idea of having like a late night radio show, so maybe we can just treat it like that. Although I know some people it's already the next day. I'm super stoked that everybody's here and chatting tonight. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. It's good to be back. It was really stressful not having the stream set up properly and running into all these internet issues, but knock on wood, I think we've got it resolved for now. I would like to do a call-in show again because the last stream was a call-in show and things got cut off. I didn't want to jump right in with another call-in show if we were going to have more issues, so we'll just take this as a little beta test of a stream. Usa says, if I give you Borneo loops, would you turn it into a beat? I'm not sure what a Borneo loop is, Usa, but sounds cool. I would definitely be down to try. I'm very early in my journey, just started a J. Allen class on electronic music theory. Is Melodics a worthy investment? I say Melodics is definitely a worthy investment. You can, if you have like very little playing experience, I would definitely recommend it, because otherwise you're taking like a piano, like there's people in the chat that have had a lot of good luck with taking piano lessons and things like that, which is totally fine. Or it's good that they've had good luck taking piano lessons, but piano lessons don't always get you to where you want to go from a production perspective. It's a very good skill to build, but you have like parallel goals that don't always align with the goals of a traditional piano lesson. You know what I mean? So my point to that is Melodics is kind of like doing keyboard lessons in a production with a production mindset. Oh gosh, can never go wrong with a comfy lounge chair. Now I know I'm way too far behind in chat. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest book recommendation. Thank you, appreciate that. I've seen the movie. Yo, what's up, Wislow? Nice to see you. Oh, Ender's Game and Starship Troopers. Interesting. Was Starship Troopers a book before the movie came out? Being a fan of Star Wars, have you read any of the High Republic era? Those are good for fun Star Wars reads. That's a good recommendation. I haven't checked those out. I find Star Wars books to be very hit and miss. However, I read the Darth Bane trilogy, which this is before like Disney and canon changes and things like that. But the Darth Bane books, especially the first one, very, very, very good. Ciel Velos. Nice to see you. What is the best way to learn to make music and learn your DAW? Learn your DAW. Well, first of all, you could book a lesson with me, which is linked in the description down below, or you could watch my totally free Ableton Live tutorials here on YouTube and my totally free music theory tutorials here on YouTube. Those are two very important things to learn. And always keep the mindset that like you have a lot to learn, so don't feel discouraged if it feels kind of slow at first. But as you learn more, you start to learn faster. Things get slightly easier and easier and easier, but it's all about your commitment. If you consume educational like if you're trying to learn through YouTube University and I'm your professor, just remember, if you try to consume like music production educational YouTube videos like they are just entertainment, then you're not going to learn very fast. You have to consume them like you're taking a class, even though it's on the same platform as a bunch of other entertainment stuff. Still undecided on DAWs. Oh, definitely got to just pick one, my friend. Pick one and go for it. And one way to determine like which one you want to go for is like, where are you finding the best resources? Like, are you finding really good Studio One tutorials or really good Cubase tutorials, or somebody like that you follow that is really good at teaching those things? If so, go with that one. But yeah, definitely don't want to be jumping between too many software pieces. Usa, do you read YouTube chat or other platform chat that we should know? I am reading the YouTube chat. I'm just reading it very slowly, so I apologize if that's frustrating. I don't want to miss people's questions, especially with the title. What's up, Sky Lotus? Yes, we are here. We are here. We are live. We have green bars. We have green bars on OBS, knock on wood. Let me ask your opinion. Do y'all like this? Like, is it cool to leave it hanging on this shot, or do you prefer if I put it on this shot? Is it weird to always look from the side? I don't know. Ooh, Jay Lawless getting an Ableton Move. I've been back and forth about whether or not I should make an Ableton Move for beginner series for YouTube. Been back and forth about that. I'm not sure if I should do that. What's good, Steezy? Nice to see you, Steezy. Thank you for being here. What's good, some? Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Silent Studios says, beatmaking is hard on a Chromebook, not made for music software. I'm a mid-teen, so all I can afford. Yeah, check out BandLab, my friend. BandLab runs in Chrome. It runs pretty well. You can do a lot of cool things with it. They've got a good free sound library. And the membership features are cool too if you did want to pay a little bit, but usually, you know, trying to get by with a lot of free stuff. But on BandLab, there is a lot of free stuff. DJ Emo says, I use Ableton 12 and it's worth it. I definitely agree. What's up, Day Night? Oh, that's a funny name. Day Night. I get it. Currently a DJ and starting to do house edit versions of R&B. Nice. Any suggestions on workflow for separating stems for use in Ableton? I currently have Ableton Live and Ableton Move. Yes, well, since Ableton Live does not have stem separation, I use BandLab often for stem separation. There's other stuff out there like Moises and things like that, but there's tons of stem separation software. But yeah, I would definitely just bounce all the stems, make sure you know even if you're not going to use the drums, for instance, still bounce all the stems because you want those drums to be your guide for getting things in sync in Ableton Live, you know? And then make sure everything is properly in time. I see some of the comments about side shot, face shot, all that. I'll keep it a healthy balance. I'll switch back and forth between side and front. Stay on the front for now. Dave Stone says, about to drop $250 on output instrument bundle. Thoughts? My genre leans towards cinematic dance in FL Studio. I know the instruments are like 10 plus years old, but I love arcade. If you love arcade, my friend, and you like the sound of those instruments, I mean, cinematic dance music, you probably can't go wrong with a lot of the arcade stuff. I think you'll be good if you like that bundle. Is that a like buy once bundle that Output has, or is that tied to some subscription? Dungeon Master agrees. Solid advice to make purchases unless you're hitting a wall. Avoid the gas. Yeah, like it's cool to be a music tech enthusiast and just want to buy things to have fun with, as long as you're self-aware about that. Like, this is how I'm going to spend my... I just realized I'm looking down at the chat for no reason. I could be looking here. There's no... As long as, like... If you want to spend your, extra money, extra pocket change on a couple new devices here and there, nothing wrong with that. But just don't buy things because you think they're going to solve a problem. Some devices will literally solve a problem. If you want to record with a microphone, or if you want to record a guitar, buying an audio interface will solve that problem. But like oh, I have the SP404. Do you think I should buy the Roland P6 because blah, blah, blah? It's probably not solving a problem. It's probably like you should learn the machine that you have. Yeah, Trevor puts it right. There are a lot of things in Live Suite. Like, I love Live Suite. I first of all, I just want to have everything available to me, but also there's a lot of stuff that I straight up just don't even touch. And if you're a beginner and you're looking at it and you don't know what you should be using and what's just kind of like not going to be useful to you, you just have too many things to look at. DJ Emo points out this as well. If anyone has anything Focusrite or other gear, always register it and check the bonuses. There is usually discounts on DAWs. Yeah, discounts on DAWs or free versions, and then they also usually include like free plugins randomly. So yes, always do that. Happy to find Korean traditional masks. 감사합니다. Yeah, I want to hang this one on the wall, but you can't see it from there. I'm dumb. I do want to hang that on the wall, but I like how it looks hanging on that, or just chilling on that bookcase or shelf. Okay, here we go. Freezetch got big plans. I use Octatrack primarily as a live effects box. I'm wondering if I can use Push 3 in a similar way, doing lots of glitchy and complex effects, mangling on incoming live audio signals from external sources. Okay, two things to keep in mind when thinking about this scenario. So you can definitely load up a ton of effects and do a bunch of kind of complex routing within the Push itself. Not bad for that. However, keep in mind that you have only 8 encoders at the top that you can use to manipulate those. A lot of your, if you want to do any kind of custom mapping or custom building of devices, you can do that on live and send the project to the Push, so that's fine. But if you think that will be annoying, then that's bad. And then also, finally, Push only has 2 audio inputs. So it depends like how you want to run audio into the Push and how many things you want to run audio into. There is an ADAT hookup, but do people, I think in this kind of scenario, you're probably not using an ADAT unless maybe you are. Beta run. Knock on wood when you say that. Knock on wood. Thank you, Trevor. Your videos have helped me immensely with Ableton. I've never joined your streams. I don't know how often you do this. We are live every Thursday evening, Trevor. So mark down your calendars. And I like having this opportunity to just chat too, because we could always get into making stuff here on stream, but I think people enjoy the chatting. I do think people enjoy the live watching and watching the production process, but I think this is like, if I wanted to just show the production process, I could just make a video. Not that we'll never do it on stream again, but better to use this time, in my opinion, to talk to each other in real time. Here. Loved your great grandmother's painting from the last video. Here, I'll show it for people who haven't seen it. Give me one moment. I haven't hung it yet because I have not hung it yet. I'm trying to find the right spot for it. There's a couple of good spots for it in here. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, I love that painting. It's like a lithograph or some kind of print or something. I don't know. Somebody said they also had the same one hanging over their piano when they were a kid. I think it was like a semi-popular thing. The artist, like, apparently is not well known. but it's a very popular piece of decor from that era, I guess. Possibly dumb question. I'm learning keyboard with Duolingo on my phone with my Akai Play. Duolingo has piano as well? That's kind of crazy. I can get it to make sound no problem with my bulky 7-in-1 hyperdrive, but I hate the largeness with my bulky 7-in-1 hyperdrive. I'm not sure what... Oh, is that like a big USB dongle? I got USB to USB-C converter and now it can't make sound. What did I do wrong? Interesting. I'm not sure if you're on an iPhone. Could be a power issue. Well, oh, I see the MPK Mini Play. Not sure. Well, the sounds on your keyboard are on the MPK Mini Play are different from you being in USB MIDI mode. So there is a switch on the back that goes from MIDI controller mode to, I don't know how. Yeah, you're hooking it up to your phone. I think you need to be in USB mode to use it. If you're in USB mode, you're not using the internal sounds. Sorry, it's a difficult question. Not a dumb question, but difficult question to answer without actually seeing it. Ableton session view alongside with arrangement view or just arrangement view? I'm not sure I completely understand the question, OSP, but sometimes I work purely in arrangement view. These days I've been drifting more and more back towards session view. Oh, JP, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Thank you for reminding me, Dungeon Master. I do have playlists on the channel, so that's the trouble with doing educational content on YouTube, is it's not like really set up in a way for you to find the right content at the right time. It's meant to just give you a bunch of random stuff that it thinks you like. So I would definitely recommend go to my just channel homepage, youtube.com/TAETRO, and you'll see some curated lists there, but there's also a playlists tab where I've tried to be mindful about curating some stuff. Astral, what's good, Astral? Thank you for being here. Quick question. I'm overwhelmed with learning mixing. I've been producing for 6 years and I still feel like I know nothing. Where can I learn just the bare bone essentials of music production? Well, I'm a little worried because the question has some mixed language. Like, I'm overwhelmed with learning mixing, and then it says bare bones of music production. So there's like some vague stuff there. Are you actually trying to learn mixing, or are you trying to learn like other aspects of music production? Music production is a big umbrella. Could come down to like making the music, writing the melodies, instrument choice, arrangement, composition, all that. Mixing is a very technical thing. I would definitely recommend take a class on mixing, find a mentor that's good for mixing. That's not me. I do not specialize in mixing. But also it is something that you constantly learn along the way, the actual technical mixing part. So don't be too discouraged. I still bang my head against the wall on mixing. The latest track that I put out probably had 7 mixing revision rounds. I would really love to find somebody who's great at mixing the style of music that I make and just pass that responsibility off. Yes, that is the Astrolab next to me. If you have a reason to like not use just the plugin versions of the sounds, it's great as a standalone device. But just keep in mind that you can have all those sounds in software and use them with a MIDI keyboard. Jim, what's good, Jim? How are you? I'm using my 2nd gen iPad Pro for music making. Very cool, very cool. Thank you, my friend. I'm glad you found the course helpful. I'm going to be adding to it soon. I think I'm going to add a chapter about drum rack, a new drum rack chapter, because when I made it, drum sampler didn't exist. So I think I need to make a new tutorial all about drum sampler. Never thought about learning each genre basics. That's a good idea, but I'm more talking about the basics of mixing, like EQ and mastering. Yeah, I touch on it a little bit in my Ableton Live series, some very, very basic foundational stuff, but mixing and mastering, both very separate, related of course, but very separate and very much each their own art form in themselves, aside from making music, you know? So my recommendation to most people who are like trying to actively make their own music and release music is either find somebody who's really good at mixing that'll do a mix and master for you, or get your mixing skills up to a level that's passable for you, that feels good enough without causing you a ton of stress. And just realize that you're not going to be a mix. If you don't want to be a mixing engineer, don't you hold yourself to the same standards of a mix engineer. Just get your music to sound good, you know? So it's kind of about where do you want to set that bar? Because if you want to go head into mixing, then you'll spend years and years perfecting that craft. Funny marketing tip from Silent Studios. A few years back, me and some friends made some hip-hop instrumentals for fun. We wanted to share them. Instead of dropping it on YouTube, we ripped them on CDs and filled Goodwills with them. That's so funny. Where can you learn about the music industry and how to properly put your music out? Very interesting. I think the hard part is, like, there's obviously a bunch of directions you could go. Well, first, distributing your music is easy. I use DistroKid. I do have an affiliate link. You can use them, but there are lots of different options for just distributing your music, getting it out there. But there's a lot to learn about the music industry, and that's a very broad question. You should listen to as many interviews as you can with artists that you like, that are doing what you want to do. Because even if they're just talking about their new album, or even if they're talking about things that are unrelated, little industry gems come through those different types of interviews. So find different interviews with artists that you like, listen to them, find the gold nuggets in those interviews. And once you do that enough, you listen to a bunch of different artists, different genres, different levels, you start to like hear common things, or you start to hear, oh, that's how that kind of worked out, and that's how this deal kind of came through. You want to hear from the people that are actually doing it. Winston, most large keyboards that are not just MIDI keyboards, that are like kind of pianos, like Roland pianos and stuff like that, most of them have MIDI out, even if it's just USB. May I ask what microphone you recommend for vocal recording? Well, I am talking into a Shure SM7B right now, which is kind of a classic choice for recording. But the condenser microphone market is pretty great. Condenser microphones will get you a nice bright sound. Dynamic microphones, not so much, but still are usable. But see a microphone as an investment piece. Like, you could have a microphone for years and years and years. So think about that. What is the most fundamental thing to do as a beginner when starting to make music, and how do you prevent yourself from tiring yourself out as everything is quite complex? That's a great question. A couple of good questions. As a beginner, when you're starting to make music, prevent yourself from tiring yourself out as everything is quite complex. Everything is definitely complex. I think, I don't know if JP is still in the chat, but one thing we talked about, so over like the past maybe 6 weeks or something, we had been working on this track, and and we had the goal, let's just finish the track, let's do a very basic structure, let's get it over 2 minutes. And once we got to that point, it's like, okay, any beginner, when you start making music, it's gonna be the worst music you're ever gonna make. And that's not to discourage you, that's to like empower you to say, like, you need to start making this music and start finishing a few things to build skill, and then move on to another thing that's going to be better, another thing that's going to be better, and over time you've just got this like incline of improvement. So set some loose goals that you can, you know, that you can clearly accomplish and that you can clearly set, that you have control over. Like, oh, I'm gonna finish the song when it's only gonna be 2 minutes long. It is gonna have an ABA structure or something like that. And when you do that, when you get to the end, of course there's a million things you can make better about the song, but it's done and you learned something along the way, and now you're gonna take those skills and you're gonna make something else. A new something else, where you're gonna use the skills that you learned, you're gonna build new skills because you're gonna set new goals, and you're gonna keep getting better. If you just stay on that one song forever, it's gonna be really discouraging, it's gonna be really boring. You shouldn't be too strict on yourself, but you should employ some discipline. It is quite the balance. You want to have enough discipline to finish things, but you want to have enough, you don't want to have too much discipline to say, oh, if I don't finish this, I'm the worst ever. You know what I mean? So keep it moving, keep making new stuff, but do set little goals along the way, and just keep building and building skills. Of course, I do offer mentorship. It's easy if you can find a mentor that can help you set those goals and stuff like that. I think that's really helpful. It can help push you in the right direction, and also help you snap out of sometimes when you're being negative with yourself, if that ever happens. I mean, I also struggle with this myself as somebody who works for the most part independently. It's like, how do you tell when you're being hard on yourself or when you're actually just having good discipline and you're holding yourself to a standard? Maybe it gets a little easier over time, but it is a constant struggle. Tips on getting into looping like yourself. Also, is Push 3 replaceable with cheaper multiple controllers? Love your work. What's up, Nabil? Thank you for tuning in. Getting into looping. Well, obviously Ableton Live is the way to go. Learn everything you can about MIDI mapping and different controllers. And to your point about Push 3 and multiple controllers, there's a couple things that, like Push being made by Ableton, there's a couple conveniences and features that it has that other controllers won't have. But for the most part, you can build a nice looping setup with a much cheaper controller setup than buying a Push 3 for sure. But don't forget that Push 3 also has a standalone version, so obviously that's quite different than a bunch of MIDI controllers. Yo, Krios, thank you for joining us. I'm glad you're liking this studio. Thank you. Knock on wood, we have been live for nearly an hour and the connection has been solid. What's up, JP Blanchard? Yo, man, this is amazing. I was just looking up some info. I want to recreate a song. How do I record the original song into Ableton? Well, let me tell you a story. In a fictional universe, in Minecraft, people might look up the song on YouTube, copy the link, and go to Google and find a YouTube to MP3 converter, paste the link in, and download the MP3. People might do that in a fictional universe, but I wouldn't know. Not 100% sure. But also, you don't necessarily need to download the song if you are recreating it. You can just listen to it. By the way, let me show you something that's actually cool for that. Here. Where is the link that I want? There it is. So, I actually made a notebook specifically for this purpose that anybody can order. So it's called, I don't have it in front of me, it's on a bookshelf behind me, I think. Yeah. So the notebook is called Song Studies, a journal to analyze your favorite songs. And essentially it's got every page that you open, 2 pages, is a page for you to fill in a full song. So you fill in stuff about the structure, the maybe production techniques, the instrumentation, notable parts of the track, and you just fill up that notebook with songs, and you'll have like a little encyclopedia of things you like about songs. So if you're looking for an analog, I guess you could say, an analog way to take notes about your songs and make a journal, that's a link for that. I made that end of last year. I don't really promote it that heavily, but sounds like exactly what you might be looking for. Oh gosh, and now I've lost where I was in the chat. I'm gonna have missed some important questions. I apologize. Tabe, good evening. We need to talk soon about Beattober 2025 merch. Nate G says, working in session view for too long makes me forget how to arrange sometimes. That's true. And it makes you forget that you need to arrange sometimes. Sometimes it just feels too good staying in the loop, and you have to like get off of that mindset, or else the music never gets finished. 500, I don't know what that is. Euro? 500 euro budget for a bedroom studio? What kind of music do you want to make? That's very, very important. I should definitely share this playlist because, or this video, TAETRO Start Music Production. Okay, this is a video called How to Start Learning Music Production. There's a chapter in this about gear. There's a chapter in it about things you want to learn. So that's one video to watch. I'm putting it in chat right now. How to start learning music production. And then this video, the best setup for beginner bedroom music producers. This is a video that talks about some of the nuances between gear and stuff. 2 links in the chat, 2 very, very helpful videos, I hope, for the beginners in the chat. Frank S. I got your whole beginner list of equipment for my little girl, and I thank you so much. We also just finished your music theory video, The Secret Formula. I gotta rewatch it to get the minor. Frank, that makes me feel really great. I'm so happy that that all worked out and that you're working through the theory video. Yeah, don't get yourself bogged down. Don't overthink the theory stuff is what I mean to say. Some people are like, oh, you said it's the C major scale, but there's an A minor chord in it. Like, it's easy to get caught up in some of those details. Just take it slow through those videos, and rewatching is totally normal. I mean, if you were in a music theory class, you'd be rereading the book or like rechecking your notes. So learning on YouTube is no different than that, except for the fact that it'll be like a nice, thorough music theory video, and then right next to it will be Mr. Beast's like forcing people to eat each other on a desert island for $10,000. So that's the difference between learning at a college and learning on YouTube, I guess. What are your thoughts on the teenage engineering issue? I don't know, what is the teenage engineering issue? What's the teenage engineering issue? Is there a big scandal? Affordable speaker recommendations. Are MacBook Pro speakers good enough to record and play? Sure, you can use those MacBook Pro speakers. You might want to upgrade to some like actual monitors though. I have a pair of Mackies. Mackies have a very affordable like 3-inch options. So Mackie, look up that brand. I've got the next up version, I believe, next size up. I think they sound great. What do you usually keep on your SSDs? Just the libraries or the entire plugin? Henry, that's a good question, and I've been struggling with the SSD situation. So first of all, I make videos, so that's one thing. Most of my storage goes to video files, so that's won't be relevant for most people that are not making videos. Then I try to keep all my sample library. My sample library is 100% on the SSD as well. For stuff like native instrument stuff, I found it easy to keep the libraries on my SSD, and the applications work fine. Arturia stuff, I had a recent issue where I was trying to go between two computers, and I have the content downloaded onto the SSD, and it was just giving me errors every time. So I said, screw it, not doing that anymore, and I downloaded the libraries to the actual computer. You just have to be particular. I know hard drive space is limited, but I'm fine with devoting some hard drive space to the Arturia libraries. But yeah, it really makes you think like, oh, I have all these gigabytes of data. Do I really need them all? You know? All right, I'm trying to catch up with chat, so sorry if I have missed a question or anything. You should be ready to make music and merch, Tabe. You should be ready for both. Your friendly neighborhood tax collector. I'm kind of overwhelmed by music theory. I understand what you have taught in your series really well, but I kind of don't know where to start in a sense. Should I dig into a specific genre and learn more? Yeah, if you feel like you understand the stuff that I talked over in the music theory series, now go take your favorite song and do what we call like a harmonic analysis. That's what they call it in music school. Basically, like in classical music, there's a lot of really complicated harmonies, and you look at these whole scores and you try to look at all the notes and figure out what's happening harmonically, like what the chords are, what the harmony is throughout the piece. In a pop tune in your favorite track or whatever, you can sketch out the chord progression. Like, what is this chord progression? What key is the track in? Maybe try to transcribe some of the melodies, aka try to learn the melodies and play them over that chord progression. And then you can start to get to a sense of like how your favorite artists, like the theory, the music theory behind your favorite track, which will give you some insight if you do it across some different tracks and some different artists, and you can figure out, oh, they have this kind of chord voicing or this kind of progression, so it sounds like this, but this other artist does it a different way. So if you've got the knowledge, now it's time to like start paying attention. And when you encounter something that you don't really understand, well, that's a gap in your knowledge. Time to learn more. Is there a way to slice samples onto pads while playing in the latest version of Ableton Live? I'm not sure what that means, while playing. There's lots of ways to slice samples to pads, but while playing, I'm not sure. Oh, you mean like a traditional like MPC sampling style? No, I don't think there really is that. Henry said, I meant external SSD. Is there a way to keep an entire plugin inside one? Yeah, I know what you mean. Basically, your plugin apps themselves, like the actual software, will always live on your computer no matter what. But most of the storage comes down to like the instrument libraries, which I have found to be hit or miss whether or not you can keep those on SSDs. Thank you, Judas. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're able to go back and find the older videos. Do you think there is a difference between a beat and instrumental music? I feel like when I make music, there might not be space for lyrics or vocals. What do you recommend I do? Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Ricardo. I think like if just make your music with intention. If you feel like it's meant to have a singer on it, you should make space for that singer. Either drop a singer into it, get a sample of a singer, even if it won't be the final, put it in so you can build the track around a singer, or be intentional about your track being an instrumental. That said, instrumentals can pretty easily be converted to tracks that can have vocals, but you might need to go back and make room for vocals. There might be too much going on since you filled up all the space. I'll definitely do that for sure. I've gotten pretty decent at scales, but I don't have them memorized really well, but I'm good at both scales and their formulas. Yeah. You don't feel like you need to memorize every scale. I think that'll come with time. If you know that formula, if you can find a major or a minor scale starting on any key, I think you're in pretty good shape. The more music that you play, the more you're playing, the more it's going to be like, oh, I know 5 songs in G minor, so I know this, I'm really fluent in this key. So the more variety and the more music you play, it'll get ingrained. If you can play along with songs and their chord progressions, that's a good way to practice as well. The UDO Super Gemini. I have not seen that. I'm not sure what that is. UDO Super Gemini. Oh, that looks like a crazy thing. Ooh, $5,000. Yikes. Balther, thank you for tuning in at 4 a.m. My fiance is sleeping. My cat is okay, brag. My cat is requesting to be petted, and I wanted to say I won with gas today. I found a good listing in my neighborhood. I think winning with gas is not buying the gear. But if you found a good deal, I guess that's like second tier winning. Good job finding that good deal. And local too, even better. But don't wake up. She's sleeping. Your fiance is sleeping. They're sleeping. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm catching up. Oh, the deal was for a labyrinth and metal fetishist, which was my gas object for the last few weeks, but I resisted the impulse purchase and convinced myself I don't need another complicated box. That's the thing, because every new piece of gear is another learning curve. Where do you save all your Ableton sessions to? Do you ever keep sessions on your Mac? No, everything gets saved on the SSD, and then I do an occasional backup. I have a recordings folder. Year folder. Projects get named by the day they were made, and then maybe the date that they were made, I should say. And then I give them a little title next to that so I can remember what it is, like chill lo-fi beat, moody ambient, something like that. Shoya, how do you deal with self-doubt? Is it something you've experienced? Of course, every day. Self-doubt does not go away, and it does not represent like some kind of flaw in you as a developing artist by any means. Every day. Because like art and music, it's all subjective. There's no real like winning, you know what I mean? And maybe you could think like, oh, if I could just be like this artist, that would mean I'm winning. But if you think about artists that have been the quote unquote most successful, there's a lot of turmoil in that, right? Like very successful artists that suffer from a lot of depression or worse, right? So I don't think we can say like complete commercial success is what it means to be completely successful. I don't know if there is the only level of success that you can control is if you're proud of your work, right? And not being too harsh on yourself so that you can experience moments of being proud of your work. And, you know, one thing that's been really successful for me to be able to reflect on my work is having this channel and being able to actually view that progress chronologically. So I know many people won't have that same, you know, access to that kind of record of their work, but if you can at least go find some old hard drive somewhere with your old work on it and go listen to it and listen to your work from now and pat yourself on the back and be like, damn, I've put in some work and this definitely sounds different, because you can't really see your progress while you're down in the trenches, you know? It's very hard to see it. So you got to pull yourself out of that, give yourself a bird's eye view, pat yourself on the back once in a while, but not too long, because you got to get back to work. You got to keep getting better. So in some ways, like, self-doubt can propel you forward. Just don't let it be paralyzing. All right, y'all. Final questions, and then we're going to sign off for today. I'm glad we got this stream in. I think we had a great time, great chat. We can get back to music making probably next week. Oh, question about the file management. Okay, cool. The session goes onto the SSD. When you reload the session to do work with it, do you do it off the SSD or load it into... No, everything's in... Every project that I have is just on the SSD. So everything... You're not seeing my screen. Every project you see here is just on the SSD. If I load it up, it's loading from the SSD. All the associated files are on my SSD drive. Doesn't cause any issues or anything. I use a Samsung T7. Thank you, Sean, I appreciate that. More videos on that coming soon. I will look at your playlists when you sign off. Thank you, Sean Adams. Yeah, I got a bunch. Yeah, everybody, great questions tonight. I know there's a lot of beginners. There's a lot of people on all different levels of learning out here in the chat, and all different genres, all coming from all different places. So I appreciate you all tuning in and being a really positive community and being cool. Do you do SSD backups? Yeah, I have multiple SSDs, so I can back up to another. I have SSDs. I have lazy drives. Oh, it's a mess. Do you think a beginner should consume more music so that you understand what you like more and understand what genre you eventually want to fit into? Yeah, I mean, it's also not about fitting into one specific genre, though it is helpful for beginners to narrow that focus a lot. But definitely curate as much music as you want. It doesn't all have to be in the same genre, because you can mix different influences from different genres, and that's how you get the real good stuff. So yes, not only beginner musicians should be listening to lots of music. Everybody should be listening to lots of music. It's how it all gets kind of pushed forward. Oh, this person did this person did that. I want to try something like this. That kind of thing. Is there a place or a website where you send your mix to professionals so they can mix master it? If you find a good one, let me know. Definitely let me know. I'm not sure, Ricardo. I've just been suffering on my own with that, so I wish I knew. What's up, Towns Bishop? You're tuning in right at the end. As usual, folks, this stream will be available to watch later. So when I end the stream, it's just going to become a normal video here on the channel that you can go and watch. I hope this has been a fun little Q&A chat stream. We're going to try something new for... we are going to try... I don't know why I said that. I don't know what I had in mind. My brain is on autopilot there for a second. But I'm glad we could have this stream this evening. I had been suffering some technical issues the past few weeks, but we're going to be back to our regularly scheduled streaming schedule on Thursday evenings here for me. You've made it through the week. For us in the US, it's kind of a long weekend. For most of us, I hope. A holiday weekend. So you can jump back, watch the beginning of this. I made a couple video recommendations throughout the video, so the live chat is usually available to watch also in watch it later is what I mean to say. I did drop a video about building this whole new home studio last week, so if you didn't watch that, definitely dig into that. I mentioned this earlier, but if you're looking for some of these more nitty-gritty tutorials, best way to find them is to go to my main channel page. I've got playlists and things like that and curated stuff right on the front page. Don't wait for YouTube to recommend you a random video. I have curated some of the stuff, and I'm working on new tutorial series. We got Launch Key Mini for beginners with Ableton Lite. I might start making the Ableton Move for Beginner series. And then since we talked a lot about Ableton Live Lite, I think I should do just a straight up Ableton Live Lite series on its own. But there's lots of stuff in the making. I'm always looking for suggestions. I did drop a members only video, a 40-minute beat making session that has commentary throughout. So it's a fully narrated, uncut beat making session. So you can see my process from nothing to basically finished beat, finished loop. So I know a lot of members have watched that and enjoy that style content. So if you do want to support the channel and get something for yourself, like the exclusive content that I just mentioned, hit the join button below this video. If you're watching on mobile, might not be there, but the join button is there. Or subscribe plus, sometimes it says. It's there on desktop when you look at YouTube. So if you want to do that, cool. And then also I have got private lessons. You can schedule a private lesson mentorship session with me. Calendly link is down in the description as well. But until next time, my friends, might be a video this weekend. I'm not 100% sure, but got more stuff to work on. I will see you all next. Oh, we also have a Discord community, I should say. So if you want to stay connected with all these people in chat, Discord community, become a channel member. Even at the $2 tier, you can become a part of our Discord community and cheer each other on and keep the conversations going while we're offline. All right, that is it, everybody. That's enough for the plugs. Thank you all for hanging out with me this evening. Hope you all have a good night. Hope you all have a good weekend. I will see you all next week. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.